All right, good evening, everyone. This is January 30th. We're going to talk about what happened today in the market, as well as discuss what we have outlined for Friday, the last day of the week. This has been a really good week of trading overall. Um, Yesterday, or today, I should say, we had Tesla was in play for today. Let's see what Tesla did. So Tesla had that early morning drop off of the earnings report. It ran up to 407 and it went through there to 413, and then it flushed down to 386. That's a little bit below where it closed yesterday. And then you see a run back up to retouch that 410, 413 area with Tesla's announcements. Let's see what Meta did. All right. So Meta has some great earnings. As you see here, we saw the wick down, and then we saw the wick up, giving us an idea. The market started off hot with Meta, and then it settled down and just turned throughout the rest of the day. So it went back to around that opening range. And then let's just check on Microsoft. Microsoft was a runner for quite some time, and then we see a flush down uh, on Wednesday night, and then that flush continued. Microsoft was one of the perfect setups for the day. Now, a stock that I had on my list, didn't talk much about, looked at in the morning, and for whatever reason, I missed out on it, was IBM. IBM had a great earnings call, shot up on over 25 plus dollars, and then it had a awesome setup all throughout on today. I don't know why I did not trade it. I was looking at it. I got caught up maybe in some of the other hype names, but I wish I would have got in on Microsoft. It did so great today with its earnings and contracts. They did super well. Another one that I mentioned some financials yesterday's call. I know Visa and Mastercard is going to have their announcements, or had their announcements as well. Let's see what MasterCard did. I talked about these on the video last night. MasterCard kicked butt. Those are expensive contracts, but it kicked butt. Let's see what Visa did. Visa, well, it kicked butt. It ran right into its earnings calls and has been doing well. Matter of fact, just look at Visa over the last year, all the way since uh, last September, ending that third quarter or fourth quarter. It has been kicking butt. Visa, since what, it's almost what, $60 plus, around this 385 range up to 343 as of this week. And it had announcements this evening, so I recommended playing American Express, which is another stock I wish I would have played but didn't play. I'll talk about what I played in a moment. American Express, I mentioned that was a lot more affordable to play. And with MasterCard announcements, American Express did awesome throughout the day. American Express and IBM. All right, on to the stocks that I did play yesterday. I actually played NVIDIA. Did really well on NVIDIA on at the beginning. Had my contracts open, but on this candlestick here, we caught a slight reversal that stumped me out, which was so disappointing because it kept on falling down. I wish I would have just probably got back into it, but I didn't. It just stumped out because of my stop loss on the contract. Um, AMD was another one that I played. I played up on this candlestick here, and you see AMD fell throughout the day, got pulled down by NVIDIA. So did kind of well on AMD. I got out probably a little lesser than what I would like to. Probably just should have took my profits at the top, but it came down a little bit and I took it. Had a really good setup. It's just that NVIDIA just pulled down all the semiconductors. Um, And then the other one that I played that helped make my day a winning day was the SPY. I caught SPY on a flush down. So SPY had to break this area of resistance here around 604, 603. 602 has always been a strong area of resistance. Once we got confirmation here, we just flushed it on down. Um, that helped make up some good profits for the end of the day. And again, the stock that I missed out on was IBM. I was looking at it. It had earnings. It was on my watch list. It was probably the strongest setup in the market going into that time frame, and IBM did exceptionally well. All right, so let's talk about what are we going to look at for tomorrow. So again, tomorrow we have Apple tonight. So it's another chance for us to get in, play the tech sector, and do well. Look at Apple. Apple has already pretty much given us our support and resistance. We got 233 on the lower, and we got 248. Stock is sitting at 244 overnight. So what can we expect? If it goes up and touches this 248 and breaks through, by the time in the morning, if it keeps rising, then we might play a little bit to the upside or wait to the reverse. If it weakens tomorrow, it is a Friday. At any given point, we got a good chance to play Apple back down from 248 down to maybe 242, and then lower 238. So Apple will be watching tomorrow. As I mentioned before, Visa had its announcements tonight. That's going to probably do exceptional well. Might even be able to get in on the ODTE trade on Visa. It has a good chance to run right back up to 352 in the morning. And Visa's just been extremely bullish. I'll be surprised if it falls, but it can. Earnings is always tricky, but we'll be watching Visa. I'm gonna go back and look at Boeing. Boeing is just a stock I like trading because of earnings. So Boeing on Wednesday went up and then fell. It looked pretty bearish. It had a bearish structure throughout the day, so you could have caught Boeing on a flush. Then today got near that level of support of 173, went back up to 177. Let's take a look and see what area did it get to. So on Wednesday, 178 was a good point of resistance. It even went as high as 182. So Boeing overnight is at 179, 180. So we probably be looking to see if Boeing get past 180, 182. If not, maybe it weakens like a lot of stocks do on Friday, and sometime in the afternoon it starts to fall because it's at its point of resistance. So Boeing would probably be looking at American Express again. We'll be looking at AXP just because of Visa, and then obviously Apple. Apple's looking pretty darn bullish. So we'll see. Um, we got our megaphone here. It's going out pretty wide. Um, So it might be in a good chop for a while. So we'll see what Apple does. Let's take a look at a couple of other stocks that have been very bullish. Let's see what Starbucks did. We made some money on Starbucks on Wednesday. Uh, mm, Thought about it. I didn't play it. Could have made some more today. Starbucks has been really good. Actually, it might want to go back up tomorrow. We'll see. Or maybe it's time for Starbucks to fade out. But I think Starbucks has a great setup for long term. Probably going to go back up to that 120 level that it was formerly at. So it went back up here to 107. It's been a good sign of resistance on the weekly chart. If it get past 109, 108 next week and stay above this range, I'll probably take a call or swing out to 120 for a few months out. So we'll be looking at Starbucks. Um, Obviously, I mentioned this on the call yesterday around ExxonMobil. and Chevron have their earnings announcements. So it would have been good to get into them today. They had some pretty good setups. They did pretty well. Trading within their range. Looks like it has broke out overnight. With that, it has a pretty good setup. So we're probably expecting a bullish run into tomorrow's earnings with Exxon, which is, again, it's not a bad. Their contracts is really affordable. Now that I see 110 on the hourly chart it's a good resistance. So we'll have to see if we get past 110. If not, then we'll be playing it for see if it's a short. But it's been pretty bullish. A good, very good structure with Exxon Mobil. So tomorrow we'll be looking at Exxon Mobil, maybe CVX. Exxon tends to move a little bit better, but their contracts is both pretty affordable. Yeah, we got 157. We got a resistance at 158. The good thing about those two is they're probably going to move together in sync. So you got confluence in the market, and that helps when making a decision about what play you want to play. Apple will be still looking at the tech sector, QQQs and the SPY, of course. Let's see what the QQQs is looking like. All right. The tech sector is strong. QQQs broke out the 1 hour instant on 528 right now. What's that? 529, another level of support. Oh man, it has a squeeze that bust overnight, but squeezes overnight don't always last. QQQ 524, we can go up to that 533. I was seeing that on today's chart. Okay. QQQ is looking pretty bullish on a 4 hour hitting into tomorrow. And you just take a look back on the last other time that QQQ had a 4 hour with a bullish and a MACD cross. You can see that it carried on and rode that 8 EMA, and it was pretty positive. So if we get that same experience tomorrow off the tech sector, that'll be a good play right up into the 533 and take profit. Let's take a look at the SPY. SPY looks pretty bullish. It's getting near that 610 level. So we just have to be careful about the resistance and see when the weakness starts to set in. And then you can compare that with the movers in the market, the Teslas, Nvidias, the Apples, and if they have weakness in their stock at the same time you're hitting resistance, it's probably a good indication to start to short. John Deere I was looking at because it fell due to Caterpillar falling. I'm not sure if I would touch Caterpillar or not. It still looks like a lot of weakness. If anything, I'll play Caterpillar to the short. If you get an early morning bounce back up to 380, I would short it right back down to 370. I don't think it's going to make that big of a reversal tomorrow. All right, so we'll be looking at the oil and gas sector, Chevron, Exxon. We'll take a look at American Express or Visa with tomorrow's announcement. And then we'll be looking at Apple and the tech sector and see how they want to move. See if there's anything else I see. IBM. Ooh, that was a good one. JP Morgan was another good stock. If you get that good area where you're a good distance away. Right now, it's already close to the 270. Again, so that's the only thing that concerns me about the tech sector. It's about right at its level of resistance. But again, if it breaks out tomorrow, I'm definitely going to jump all on it. All right, so that is my update for Thursday night and what I'll be looking at on Friday. If you found this information to be helpful, please like, hit the subscribe button, and take care. All right, be blessed.